Now, I want to take a second to talk about Don't Look Up. That's streaming on Netflix, written and produced by Adam Mckay. This movie is probably one of the best movies I've seen in 2021 for a number of reasons. I'm going to get into those, but first, take a look at this. The cast of this movie, who is in this movie, right? We've got Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Merryl Streep, Cate Blanchett, Rob Morgan, Jonah Hill, Mark Rylance, Tyler Perry, so on, so forth. Ariana Grande, Kid Cudi's in this movie. Like, come on. Like, you've got a lot of big names in this movie. Now, one thing about movies that use really big casts like this, really they rely on the fact that they've got so many great actors in order to make the movie. But in the case of Don't Look Up, that is not it, right? Don't Look Up I think it was a fantastic movie, and I think it couldn't have been written or directed any better. But let me get into some of the reasons why. But before I get into those reasons, let's talk about what this movie is about. If you have not seen this movie yet, there will be spoilers in this video. So feel free to turn this off, go back and watch the movie, and then let me know down in the comments if you agree that this is one of the best movies of 2021, because I believe it is. What is Don't Look Up about? Don't Look Up is basically about Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence's characters, Dr. Randall Mindy and Kate DiBiase, where they pretty much discover a comet that is heading for Earth, and it will be a mankind-ending catastrophic event. The story goes along and basically them trying to alert the world and about the meteor and get them to do something about it. That's where Meryl Streep's character, President Orlean, is introduced. It's very interesting, right? So you look at Don't Look Up, and it's a comedy, but it's very, very dark. This is a dark movie. One thing I like about it is that they mix kind of that dark, satirical theme with really serious political and social undertones that just kind of come together so perfectly. Think of it like you've got a very serious situation, like you need to use the restroom and you're in traffic, and it seems like everything is working against you to make sure that you can't get there. Everybody's just like, no, this person stopped. Basically, it makes for a pretty difficult situation, but at the same time, it's kind of comical. Right, so that's what this movie's about. I think that the character performances in this movie are stellar. Right, you've got Leonardo DiCaprio, who I feel like should probably win an Oscar for the performance of this character. It really brings it to life. Jennifer Lawrence, same thing. Just seeing her on screen playing, the scientist, and then seeing the character development throughout the movie is just so chef's kiss. One of the performances that I thought was absolutely incredible was Jonah Hill. And obviously we've seen Jonah Hill along with Leonardo DiCaprio before, but his back and forth banter with Jennifer Lawrence was just something to be, it left nothing to be desired. It was great. Every time this dude was on screen, I was laughing my ass off. I think that the editors did a great job putting this movie together. Some of the transitions in this movie were just perfect. Again, we talk about the overtones, right? The seriousness along with the dark comedy kind of mixed together. You'll have scenes where it's like this like serious conversation, serious thing happening. It'll cut over to, Jennifer Lawrence kind of thinking about the 3-star general who charged them for snacks. I love the way this movie was put together. I think one of the biggest things about this movie is that it's not super unrealistic for this to be the case. You look at what's happening in the movie, right? There's this giant meteor and it's coming to Earth, it's gonna blow everything to pieces. And for some reason, it's impossible to get people in power to care or to even look at what's going on. And once they do realize what it is and some of the things that could go along with this catastrophic event, now they want to monetize it. It's like, no, let's not destroy that meteor that's going to destroy our planet and kill everyone on it. Let's go up there and try to farm it for resources so that we can advance our technology and, so on and so forth. Like it's absolutely I feel like the one thing, it's hard to say whether it's unrealistic, right? You've got the mission where they're going to send the guy off into space and blow up the meteor, try to deflect the meteor to go somewhere else. And it's canceled because, obviously a big corp wants to be able to take some money out of this. And then you've got now our countries fighting with these other countries, and it's like, no, we don't want it. It's a fucking mess, basically. And I don't feel like, if you look at some of the issues that actually go on in our world, this is too far-fetched to something that would happen based on the responses and just looking at our society. When it comes to the plot of this movie, there was just so much, suspense throughout the movie because you never really knew what was going to happen next. I kind of hinted towards the transitions kind of jumping from different scene to scene, but it was just, it was constant. I'll be honest with you, most movies I watch, I tend to fall asleep because they get boring, especially when they're 2.5 hours. I think this movie was 2.5 hours. But yeah, this movie, kept me on my feet. And then one big point of contention in this movie was the ending, right? You have all kinds of opinions about how this movie ended. And to be honest with you, I think the ending was great, right? I typically have an affinity toward movies that don't have a happy ending, because in life that's usually not the case. Especially why I hate rom-coms. But anyway, I think there was something humanizing about that last scene where they're sitting around the table, they're all eating, they're having, holding hands, they're there, they're human. They start talking about some of the, basic things about life, because they've kind of come to grips with the fact that they've kind of done everything they could, and they've kind of met their inevitable end. And so it was really emotional. It's hard to explain the feeling that you get from watching that movie, because it makes you start thinking like, oh shit, like, is this something that we're gonna have to deal with in our lifetime? Or it was kind of scary. But like, I feel like they were able to invoke a lot of different emotions in this kind of movie. And to be honest, it was a leap, right? Because when you put some of these political issues on the forefront of your movie, you run the risk of that being all the movie is about. But if you watch the roundtable with Adam McKay, DiCaprio, Merryl Streep, and the majority of the stars of the cast, Merryl Streep mentions how when you're talking about something as serious as, like, let's say for climate change, something like that, the best way to do it, just like all comedians do, is with a joke, right? You bring someone in, you make them feel good about it, but it's like, hey, I'm gonna put this shit in your face because this is real. And so, I think they did a great job with the movie overall. Really enjoyed the movie. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend watching it. If you have, guys, let me know down in the comments. Did you like the movie? What are some things you think could have been done differently? Or did you absolutely hate it and couldn't get all the way through it? Either way, let me know. If you're new to my channel, subscribe, hit like, and I'll see y'all in the next video.